Hey guys, it's Tara time, and today I want to talk to you about a bunch of things. I want to talk about how I lost my Rec Room account for like a week and a half and how I got it back. And then I want to talk about the Rec Room dev post that got put out last week by Nick. It's like a little FAQ, so if you missed it, there's a lot of crucial information because there's a lot of rumors going around right now about Rec Room. People are saying they're like $300 million in debt. They're saying that the end is near. They're saying a lot of things. And I mean, of course, last week I did make a video where I was a complete hot mess. I will admit that. I will be the first to admit that. It was completely unscripted, which I'm doing again today. And you guys left me so many comments. We will touch on that later, but the comment section, you guys, you killed me. That really just like in a good way. It warmed my heart. And honestly, it was a tough week emotionally for me last week with everything that was going on with Rec Room, the layoffs, and then reading like over 700 comments on my channel, a lot of which you guys put in very big paragraphs. I had a lot to read, a lot of wholesome stories to catch up on. So first I want to talk about my Rec Room account. Oh, those are cool. Thanks, Dark Persona. For months now, months, when I try to open my Rec Room account, I basically will, I didn't mean to pull my camera out. When I try to open Rec Room on Steam, I will sit there for a solid minute, sometimes more, and it just shows me the blank screen. I'll try to put a clip on screen of what I see. Like I'll hit play and then it'll just show a blank screen with like that moving background. And then after that, it'll try to load my dorm. And it is generally fine. It just takes ages. And it's annoying to get in VR because I'm standing there in VR, I'm just like watching nothing, watching the load screen. And I'm like, this is ridiculous. I didn't know why it was happening, but now in hindsight, it makes sense. It's Tuesday today, so 2 weeks ago, this happened. It was an update that they did. So I blame the update because can you blame me? I mean, it updated and then I couldn't get into my account. What I would do is I would hit login, hit play, and then it would do that blank screen like it always did. But then after that, I was out of luck. Like it would load my dorm to 100% and then just the game would become unresponsive. I could like get impatient and click the window on my computer and the whole window would just go unresponsive. And then sometimes I would wait and just nothing happened. So I assumed the update broke my game. And so I reached out to Rec Room staff and said, can you eliminate some of my friends list? Because I'm always told that it's my friends list bogging everything down. That's the reason that my game runs like trash. And I'm always hesitant to do that because I spend a lot of time with my auto clicker accepting your guys' friend requests. I like doing it. I don't mind. I honestly have had to do a few friend purges over the years just because I suspect it's running my game a little slow. If I had done nothing, I would have over 100,000 friends easily, maybe like 120,000 friends in Rec Room. It's kind of a flex. I don't know. I don't mind doing it. It's just like, it's not like a bad thing. I like doing it. I like accepting a friend request, but I also do see there's probably a correlation between friend requests, like accepting them, and supporter count, like people using my code. I try to put myself in the position of somebody who watches my channel or, you know, actively supports me in Rec Room. If they logged into the game one day and saw that I actually unfriended them, I would probably unsupport. Why did my favorite creator unfriend me over nothing? And I would be upset. And I would honestly take it personally. So I don't like to do the friend purges, even though I suspect they might help my game run better or might have nothing to do with anything. I don't really know. I have done them just because to try and see if it will help the performance of the game. I do it very grudgingly. I don't want to. And so with that said, I did one again recently, just after I couldn't get into my account at all. I thought it was tough, but I'm like, if I can't get into my account at all, I'm also going to lose supporters. And I also am not just going to be around. I'm just going to be on an alt for the rest of my life. So let's try this. So I reached out to staff and they tried to get it down again for people that hadn't logged in a while to take them off my friends list. And we got it down by like 18,000 people, I think, that hadn't logged in a bit. So now my account is, I don't know, maybe 80. I think it went from 80,000 down to, anyways, it's down to less of a crazy number, but still a crazy number by all means. I don't know why they don't have a friends list cap in Rec Room like they do in other games. Roblox, I found out, is 1,000. That's it. I started accepting friend requests and someone told me, you know, it's only 1,000. I'm like, that's it? So to be able to even get to like 100K friends in Rec Room is kind of crazy. But anyway, so TLDR, it was not my friends list. That didn't affect anything. I still couldn't get into my account. And this was like the same time that the layoffs were happening, that they were kind of all that week they were working on my account. And at the end of the week, they were like, surprise, we're laying off half our employees. And, you know, we can't really work on that for you anymore, Tara. Just put in a support ticket like anybody else. And I was like, oh, alrighty then. And just knowing so many people personally that got laid off and wondering what the future of Rec Room was, you can probably understand how I made that 25-minute non-scripted half-crying video that I made last week. I was just upset. And knowing that I didn't have my account on top of that, I was kind of losing my mind a little bit, honestly. I was stressed already, and I really didn't want to feel like I was never going to get my account back. to me. How am I gonna have an account? My account is important to me. I've never done anything wrong. I've never been banned in Rec Room. As far as I know, I've been an upstanding citizen in this community. So just to be locked out of my account and told like, I don't know who's gonna deal with this now, I was upset. So after the video came out though, staff reached out to me, which surprised me. Like people who work doing dev things, I imagined. Sorry, I didn't actually get your formal title, people who helped me, but I'm assuming that you were devs because you seem to have dev powers. And a lot of people also just in the comments were trying to help just by suggesting things that I could try. So a few days went by and the staff looked into it, and then it was like going into the weekend, and I got a message from one of the staff members helping me, and they said, you will never believe what it was for your account. And I'm like, it wasn't my friends list? And they said, no. And I said, was it the forbidden one? And they said, no. I had to ask. And then they said it was your 27,000 consumables that you have in the game. Huh, who would have thought? Playing Rec Room for 4.5 years, accumulating potions and film and popcorn and lattes and Coach's root beer, and eventually it broke my game. At that point, after such a long, stressful week, I have to admit, that's kind of funny. I laughed. I had a good lull over that because I would not have guessed. That was not even in my top 5 reasons. I would have guessed hackers, my friends list, some bug in the update that somebody slipped in that just breaks people's game if they have, I don't know, too many friends. I really just didn't even understand what it could be. I wasn't expecting that. So I laughed and they said that they could like take away my whole consumables list and see if that works. And the only thing I was sad about would be my rare bubblies. Every retcon, every time there's a rare bubbly, the forbidden one bubblies, the forgotten one bubblies. I've forgotten about him actually. The Midnight Gala bubblies. Oh, I've completed every research lab survey. Every rare bubbly, I was like, all right, take it all away. I mean, mainly it's just that I'd be upset to not get back. And so, of course, they flipped the switch on my consumables, I guess, and fed them all to needy people in the rec center. And then that was it. I opened up my backpack and I tell you, it is the weirdest thing to see nothing in there. So I logged back out of my account. At this point, I'm so happy to have my account back. I log out, close the game. Then I hit the button on RecNet in your settings that opens all your boxes for you, except for like clothing. And I hop back in the game and I was just like, I could see like, now I have like 3 donuts, and I have still a few of my survey bubblies because I did do, I don't know, surveys at some point. I have cake pops. I have 7 cheese pizza, and then I have like 50 film and stuff like that. Like it's not, I'm so used to being like, I have 4,000 root beer, 2,000 bubblies. Maybe not that many. I actually don't even know how many I had before all this happened. I'm used to having a lot of stuff. And so to open it and see nothing and then like very little, I'm like, I feel just, I don't know, lighter. 27,000 consumables lighter. And then they told me that they might be able to still restore my whole inventory of consumables. I'm like, just take it. I don't even want it back. I just want the rare bubblies back. The rest can just go, especially if it's going to cause problems. So I'm still waiting. They may still be able to restore what I had. I don't really care that much, like I said. The rare bubblies from retcons past and stuff are really nice to open just for celebratory reasons. I may have even had a crater bubbly. I don't know where I got that. But so my account is back, which is great. And late last week as well, Nick put out a whole new blog post. If you guys didn't notice, it touches on the income stuff because rumors were just starting to fly, and I'm not surprised at all. So yeah, people were saying that Rec Room is $300 million in debt. I saw a lot of crazy things saying that they're going to just shut down tomorrow. And I am currently trying from VR to look on my phone to look at this dev post because I definitely, am I on seated mode? Why? I am standing. I'm just going to take a peek at this dev article that Nick wrote, and I'm going to go outside the rec center because that's kind of cool. I keep forgetting that's something you can do now. That's back in my day, you had to glitch out and then half the time you got stuck. But I'm looking at this dev post at the moment, and Nick said it's a hard week given the layoffs and a lot of time has been spent trying to help everyone impacted and probably put out fires. And so he wrote kind of like an FAQ. He said, are we out of money? No. Our balance sheet is pretty strong. They basically admitted everything that they had in the last post, said that they were trying to hit a big vision and it wasn't working. And if they kept going without doing layoffs, then they would have run out of money. It would have been bad news. They said they have several years of runway with the current team, the current burn rate, and cash in the bank. And so death for Rec Room is not imminent. They said they have no debt and that UGC is growing, but UGC creators take a lot of that, so that's not really helping them too much, I think. The most important thing that I read in this post is that they said they haven't been doing a good job communicating with the community in the last few years. I could not agree more. That might be the understatement, the Rec Room understatement of the century, honestly. honestly. When they got rid of the weekly, they didn't really tell us why it went to a once a month thing and then got eliminated. They basically said no one does it, and so that's why. But it's like, yeah, maybe even 1% of players do it, but that is like the 1% that is the most dedicated to the game. And of course, we were rightfully upset. And there was just so many examples of bad or no communication when they changed room rewards the first time. They learned from that. They did better communication after that. I think just even maybe not even letting us know why build contests went away. Don't quote me on that, but there's multiple times that I felt like they didn't communicate with us, and it's caused a lot of speculation and caused a lot of people to lack faith in the game and call it like corporate and say it's becoming more corporate. It doesn't feel like they listen to us. And here's the thing, actually, I'm gonna put my phone down. I'm looking at this dev post, but I'm gonna say something too. A lot of games I'm learning, they are actually shaped from the community. Let me know in the comments if you think this as well, but I've been noticing Animal Company, a lot of these other VR games, Rough Knots, Yeeps, they basically listen to their community. They're doing polls, what should we add? They're asking people from the community to do playtesting. They're getting people involved. And I think Rec Room for a while now, Rec Room staff, if you're watching my ramblings, again, take note of this. I don't know if you do enough research of what the demographic is, but the demographic is ever changing and getting younger. And at least in VR anyways, the younger crowd in VR, they want to feel like they're part of shaping the game. They want to feel like their voices are heard. I think that's any community, but I think it's especially true with the fact that other games are doing that. You kind of can't afford not to. And so I think with Rec Room almost like closing the door on our opinions and going to do what they wanted anyway wasn't a good thing. And they're coming back now in 2025 and saying like, sorry guys, we were a little bit wrong. We maybe should have done this or that or not had so much of a big vision. And we're all just like, and I mean, we've all been like, it's the like, sorry I was wrong, but the damage is done kind of thing. But I have faith for this game. I have faith for it. I'm actually a little bit excited. Not that people got laid off or anything like that, but I'm excited that it might be smaller and more sustainable now. And that makes me happy. I just hope that they don't turn around and not do that. I'm hoping they really follow through this time and that it actually can be something good. It's still one of the top games in the meta store. It has been surpassed by other games. Like there's a new golf game out that actually just passed Rec Room, which is kind of sad. So anyways, in Nick's post, it was also said, they're going to try to communicate better, but he also admitted that may not always be for the best. And I kind of agree. When the company is posting publicly for everybody to see, hey, we weren't doing that great, and so we had to lay off people, or this is how much money we have in the bank. I feel like that's kind of unprecedented. I feel like that's not often something a company will be that open with, but here we are, and that's the direction they're going. I just hope they maintain that level of communication with the players and the player base and what they're working on. Rec Room, take note. In your Discord, you pretty much never ping everybody, like at everybody. You're afraid to do so, I think. And there's no like leaks and spoilers and fun and hype, and that needs to change. I think if you're going to bring back the OG players and the OG community that's older and, has a part-time job and they can spend money in the game and they're passionate about it to do so, I would like to see those players come back. And I also think that that's kind of how you get them back, is by rebuilding that trust. And so that's something I would like to see, is more, maybe spoilers of what Rec Room Originals you are updating in the process and how it's looking, and ask for our feedback and what we would like, and try to bring that old vibe back of Rec Room, and just not trying to make it into like a watered down Roblox. I think we're past that. I think we can all admit that Rec Room is special in its own way, and that's why a lot of us started playing. And to talk about the comments that you left me, they were so sweet. I honestly spent a lot of my week, first thing I do when I wake up in the morning is usually check my YouTube channels, but it was more so like it was just all the time because there's so many comments to catch up on. So I just grabbed my streamer cam by accident. Well, fine then, I'll just change angles. Rec Room, fix it so that you can see your hand in the streamer cam when you're running. It's not the end of the world, but I don't like that. If there's staff remaining to permit doing that. All right. To the bright old rec center. Okay, let's see, what was I even talking about? This is why I script things. Oh yeah, the comments. So even more so than usual last week, I found myself looking at the comments for that video, and I was really blown away. There were so many stories of, how it was for you when you first started Rec Room, why you started Rec Room, how Rec Room shaped your life, the memories that you made in Rec Room, and a lot of them were similar to my Rec Room journey in that, it's a very important part of your life and you have a hard time letting it go. I'm afraid to make negative content on Rec Room, not because I'm not allowed to, it's just I don't want to turn players off of the game, and Rec Room doesn't want me to do that either, and so I can respect that. From a business standpoint, we as video partners are the marketing team, so if we make negative content and they're paying us to do that, by giving us a cut of when people use our code to spend in game. It's not fair to them. So I try not to. But I also have to balance that with being a Rec Room player and someone who's pretty genuine and honest. And so sometimes I have to make negative videos, but I don't lie. I would never say like I blindly believe in something. I still have my opinions. And so while I don't agree with the direction that they have been going in, I want to make honest content about the game that still represents me. I was going somewhere with that. I was actually going to say, when you guys leave those comments, I noticed that a lot of the people that show up on those videos to comment and whatever, you guys don't even play anymore. Some do, but a lot of the people that show up for those videos that are negative about Rec Room are ex-players. They are like, I haven't played since March, what happened to the game? I haven't played since last year, it fell off, or I haven't played since 2024 when it started XYZ. So I'm not as afraid of scaring off players when I make a video like that, because I think the OG community that makes up most of the dead subscribers on my channel because they just left the game, they come back sometimes for those negative videos, but in general, I don't know if it scares off a bunch of new people. I think if you're new to Rec Room and you don't even understand what us old players are even rambling on about, because it hasn't been, 2021, 2022 Rec Room for obviously years now. But a lot of the comments that I did get were from the older players. And so I read through them and I felt just, I don't know, really supported, I would say. A lot of you were very empathetic in the comments. There was only a few people that were basically saying, "What's wrong with you, Tara?" I think one person said I have an unhealthy view of how content creation is supposed to work or something like that. I guess for a lot of people, it's normal if it's just a hobby. It's not so normal if it's your full-time job. And for me, that's still a little odd too. So I will get passionate about it. If the low numbers for income start scaring me, I will definitely talk about that. But just going through all the comments was pretty amazing. I have to say it helped me grieve the layoffs. It helped me sort of also remember old Rec Room and some of the memories that I've made. And so it was just an emotional week. And this week is a new week. It was a long weekend. I took time off. My headache is finally starting to go away. And so I definitely feel a lot better this week. So I'm not really crying on this video like I was. Sorry, this probably won't get as many views because, Tarapeutic crying is probably, I don't know, actually. I don't know why that video popped off because I felt like I was all over the place with what I was talking about. I tried to even put in chapters and I don't even think the chapters were entirely accurate. And so, yeah, it was just, it was a hot mess of rambling, but that's okay. I knew I had to do a follow-up when I saw that blog post from Nick. That was some pretty critical information. I also got a lot of supportive DMs from just the community in general, other Rec Room YouTubers. And I know it made me feel a little bit better that Soul Fox was going through the same thing as me with his account. We both got locked out, although I think he had pretty similar amount of consumables to me. So let that be a lesson. Don't, I guess, store your consumables for 4.5 years or your account might break. Although they said they're working on something for that and I might get my stuff back, so we'll see. In general though, I think that something I missed talking about on the last video was that it's more important than ever for us to show up and support Rec Room if we care about the game. I think maybe just try to hop back in the game and just remember it for what it was. You can still play the Rec Room originals and you can still enjoy yourself. And I think just trying to put a little trust into them maybe at this point, because there's no sense kicking them while they're down. And so maybe we should just try to let the past couple years go and let's just put faith in them that they will make things better and start making it back into what it should have been and support them. I think, it's a good time to go buy a token bundle or some outfits, or at least just, not, if you can't manage to money-wise support them, and understandably so if you're a bitter ex-player, I don't expect you to hop on and spend boatloads of money, but I just mean I think that they could use our support, and even that would just give them some faith and maybe just talk less negative about them, because it's a tough time for all involved, and it's really easy to hop on that bandwagon of just hatred, I think, for the game. Like, what have they done? How dare they? But we're all human. We all make mistakes. They should have listened to the community, and they're promising to do so now. And I know that there's been a lot of ups and downs in the Rec Room journey, especially for me being around for almost half a decade now. I haven't been a super OG. I can only imagine how crazy of a ride it would have been if I'd been here since the early days, but at least being here since 2020, late 2020, a lot has changed and a lot has not changed. And I still have some friends in the game. I would like to make more modern memories in Rec Room. I do have fun with Roomie and stuff like that, but I wish I could actually just hop on again to play as a player. It's really tough for me as well because I can't just do that. I can't go back to the old days where nobody knew who I was. Public lobbies are generally impossible for me unless I want to have a good healthy dose of social anxiety when I get swarmed. But I myself, I'm going to do my due diligence to try and go back to having a fun time in Rec Room, trusting them and not being so upset about what they're doing. Because for a while there, leading up to the layoffs, I admit I was getting pretty bitter. I see some of my comments in my Discord server and stuff, and I just sound bitter about Rec Room. It's the AI stuff and leaning into that, and just in general, feeling not heard. I think that's where it started, honestly. Feeling like the weeklies went away and they didn't hear us on that's something that really mattered. And feeling like everybody else is feeling downtrodden. That doesn't help too. Seeing all my creator friends kind of leaving, and just want to turn over a new leaf and just let's, instead of Rooms 2.0, which I don't know how that's doing, but apparently still people are mad. Let's do Rec Room 2.0 in our brains. This is, this is new. This is going forward, what we're going to do. It's going to go back to its roots. It'll never be exactly how it was, but maybe we can have a new revamped version of that we're all semi-okay with. And I'll be the first to admit, my life is different than 2021. My circumstances in life that led me to play hours of Rec Room a day, that's not my life today. So of course I feel nostalgia for those times, but we can't entirely blame Rec Room for the fact that we grew older, our lives are different, and now maybe we don't want to play it all the time because people change, people evolve, but that's not necessarily Rec Room's fault. If you did miss the video where I was an emotional wreck from last week, I will grudgingly put it on screen here so you can go catch up, and then this video will probably make more sense. I just realized that I think in the last video and maybe this video, I forgot to put in my intro to use code Tara. Oh well. So use code Tara in Rec Room the next time you're in game. Even if you don't actually buy anything in Rec Room, it's still like free word of mouth advertising because it'll show on your profile. I support Tarapeutic. Other people will see that, but it expires every 45 days. So you have to re-enter the code or find my profile and just smash the support button. So with all that said, I hope you guys are giving it your Rec Room good enough, and we'll see you in the next video. Take care.